Ladies and gentlethems, welcome back to Style Esports. This evening, it is Llama. Joined with me right now is just me. I'm going to be bringing you at least the beginning of this match this evening. It is a best of three between Mythic, Omega, and TDS Knights. It is Pickban for game number one. Welcome back. This is season number 13 of League of Legends, season 14 for Style Esports. We saw some awesome matches yesterday casted by Inigo and, who's this co-caster? I don't remember right now, but some great games. Rank 2 versus rank number 5, some top level League of Legends. This should be some great league as well. You know, not quite as high elo, but still some great teams coming out. Not teams I've really casted. I have casted some of TDS in the past, but not as much recently. So yesterday's games, Nyarko was on the cast as well. Bans coming out here in first half, nothing too crazy. A lot of AP champions actually banned from Mythic Omega against TDS Knights. We'll have to see what that means for some early priority here. And now with Mythic Omega on the blue side, they will get to decide what the first pick is. And without much hesitation, it is a Shen pickup. Shen is a champion that MTC Blades has been playing quite a bit here, looking like likely in the support role. Could have some flex potential as well, but looks like a very, comfort pick here as the first choice for Mythic. We'll now have to see how it is responded. Not too many high priority champions. Looks like a lot of targeted bans coming out. TDS Knights has opted to choose the Gangplank, likely again for topside. It does look like Fish Emulsion is the top laner for TDS Knights, has the most Shen played, and so they must decide that we would rather play it than ban it. It's kind of what I expect to see here. But the response into that is a Gangplank. Fish Emulsion played one game so far this season and won it, so there's something to be said for that. It looks like the Marksman player here, Not So Dark, for the TDS Knights, is locking in Jinx as a blind bot lane champion. So it is an auto attack based champion, and into Shen can be a little scary, but it does mean Mythic Omega gets to respond for their bot lane, and we will have to see what champions they opt for. Kaisa, some more engage going down there. So looking like a Kaisa Nami lane to round out bot side. It's an enchanter here. You got the fish now. It is played into Fish Emulsion. So it looks like Don't Let Me Sup will be playing the Nami in this first match. I expect to see a support coming in. We'll see if TDS Knights wants to pair that Jinx with an enchanter and match, or you just play for the heavy engage. That is a Nautilus picked up. That is a big CC boy in the support role. Got that depth charge, has the hook, is able to land those dredge lines and lock down any of these members. Nami is no way out, so as a blind pick, you got to be scared if you're the fish, because if you get hooked in, that is going to be an anchor right to the gills and could take Nami out quickly. We are into the second half of bans, neither team opting to show a jungler quite yet, and looks like Elise off the table now. This is a premier jungle champion right now across the board, known for heavy early game presence, some great dive potential with the repel, and that is going to be taken off of the game onto the bench for this first game. Looks like more junglers banned out second half. A lot of CC as well. Mythic Omega, 4 of their champions all AP here, and another second half ban maybe toward the mid lane here. TDS Knights seems to be taking QC Nugget off of this Vigar pick, and we'll have to see how Mythic Omega is going to finish out their round of bans, if they're going to be trying to maybe target Swedish Pancake in the mid lane. Something like Victor, I wouldn't be surprised to see banned away. Maybe even Brand with this AP. But Echo is the choice. Echo is the choice. See what I did there? So there we go. So we'll have to see what is the second half of picks. I expect to see a jungler picked up here. Still things like Sejuani, Zac are available. Maokai still with lots of presence and high winning options. But Teemo is hovered. TDS Knights. We'll see if this actually does get locked in, but instead Sion. But with the Sion lock, again, that could be Sion jungle, but it could also mean something like a Gangplank mid and Sion top. So Nocturne now. Oh, Nocturne Galio is a 4-5 pickup. Mythic Omega has gone in on the full on engage and the long range engage at that. You got the Galio ultimate, you have the Nocturne ultimate, and the Shen combo. Those are three champions that basically from wherever, if they are off your screen, that does not mean they are not nearby, can all join in the blink of an eye. But Kai'Sa means that they are the front line, putting a lot of eggs in the Boo Psycher Man basket, looks like, in the marksman role. And TDS Knights, with their AP pick, do pick up a Talia. Still a little bit of flexibility in the draft, I guess, but I'm expecting to see a Talia mid with a Scion jungle and Gangplank top is kind of what I do expect to see, especially as Talia is a great matchup into the Galio. We will see if we can get going into game in just a moment. And we will have to see what happens here. But both teams have locked in their 5 champions that they are going to be taking on to the Rift in this first game. And I will be getting a prediction in. Who will win game number 1? Is this going to be Mythic Omega here on the blue side for game number 1, or the TDS Knights? I'm going to give y'all, let's see, I'll give you 10 minutes here to get your submissions in. I know some of y'all are just picking based on who has got the better name, so let us know what you think. If you got support in the chat, let us know with your channel points. And then we will be getting locked in and onto the Rift in just a couple of moments here. You'll have to see. So, if we take a look at these two team compositions, not too much meta. It's kind of hard to predict what there is, but I like the amount of front line that TDS Knights have drafted. Scion and Nautilus, 2 beefy boys in the front line, and some scaling options. Jinx, Gangplank, Talia, all great champions mid and late game. So they got some great draft. On the other side, though, Mythic Omega really trying to use the map advantage and the global ultimates to win this first game. Nocturne and Galio, even the Shen, level 6 reliant champions. These champions need to have their ultimates to impact and influence the map. Paranoia from Nocturne, making that map dark for TDS Knights, not being able to see. They can get anywhere there, and if they got a Galio right behind them to drop the ultimate in a stand united from Shen, that could mean that everyone from the screen is piling onto this Kai'Sa. And so we'll have to see if the point of focus at level 6 is in bot lane. Everyone from Mythic Omega can show up there quickly. But some great response tools of their own. TDS Knights drafting the Gangplank and Talia. Talia's Weaver Wall after level 11. That is a pretty massive ultimate, but even at level 6 can join and match Galio realms very well. I like to see that high level mid lane counter pick going on in the mid lane. I think that was a great last pickup. Talia, honestly, in a pretty strong spot right now. So I like to see that matched up. And then, of course, you do have the Gangplank ultimate. That is a global point-click, drop the bombs. And if Gangplank is able to have that ultimate for the right times on the bot side, yeah, Stand United could ult on to Kai'Sa or Nami, but, I mean, that GP ultimate will still be able to match some of that global influence. So I do want to see how these teams opt to use the map, especially on these level 6 timers. Can TDS Knights get the scaling advantage for Talia and Jinx, or will these level 6 ultimates from Mythic Omega be able to move around the map better and get the key picks to take the wins? It could be close. It could be anyone's game here, and we will have to see. And we're about to get into this first draft and get locked in. Oh. I just got kicked out of the game here. So let me see if I can get back in. And while I try to get settled and get in, we're going to take a short spectator delay as well. But when we are back, we will look for game number 1 here between TDS Knights and Mythic Omega. You will not want to miss this. We will see you back in just a moment. Thank you for your patience as we were getting set and settled for game number one this evening between Mythic, Omega, and TDS Knights. I am here and gratefully joined alongside me is Potato, and we are on to the Rift.
Yeah, excited to see two new teams for me today. These players are all ones I have not encountered before, so hopefully we'll get to see some signature picks, some good action. I'm already seeing a bit of a dive comp coming out from one of these two teams, so might make for some exciting plays later on.
Yeah, and some interesting kind of locations for some of these champions here. Already a little Phoenix pulling out the Scion jungle in this first game. Don't know if that's much of a pocket pick or something they wanted to see here, but threw me for a little bit of a loop in the draft.
Yeah, certainly not a pick that I've come across before. One of those champions that does enjoy getting a lot of farm to get the health scaling, so we'll see how effective that will be in the jungle. It certainly brings a lot of a CC and a front line for the team, which is something that they will enjoy.
Yeah, but both junglers have opted to start on the bottom side of the map, no one getting an early level 1 advantage bot side. So we'll have to see how this early pathing might result in these two junglers clashing in the top lane at that 3:30 for Scuttle Crab spawn.
Yeah, can't say I've seen the Nocturne Scion jungle matchup all that much before, so I'm not sure which of these champions might have an advantage on the other in these kinds of early skirmishes, but I guess we'll just have to find out when they run into each other.
Yeah, you're right. And I mean, the Scion, early on does have some strong base damage, but so much of that damage is locked up inside of the Decimating Smash on that Q. That can give up to 200 physical damage if he keeps it all the way charged. So it can be pretty massive damage, but the level 2 bot side, this could already be something dangerous.
Yeah, a very early level 2 play here. Don't let me stop getting very, very low. Not so dark. Unfortunately, not quite able to chain the Jinx traps off of the Nautilus hooks, placing those just a little bit too early. So Nami will survive here, but that is 3 summoners expended for the Mystic team. Their bot lane definitely feeling the pressure of that early level 2.
Yeah, that costs both summoner spells from Don't Let Me Sup, and Boo Psycherman also had to use the flat or the heal. Little Phoenix though not winning this 1v1.
Yeah,
Decimating
there's a
Smash, that is
jungle
the
clash.
advantage of that spell shield.
Yeah, the spell shield really just eliminating that single impactful ability there. Nice taunt also onto Fish Emulsion as the top laners are getting in the action as well. But lethal tempo there from Nocturne and the Fear just makes it so that encounter is not entirely fair here at this early game. And maybe looking for red steel as well. Silent Shield is down. Lil Phoenix doesn't have an idea that Vampiric is here, forcing the flash out, but Talia might be here to reinforce. A nice spell shield blocks the Q, but can they live the assault from Swedish Pancakes? Now Galio is here to support as well. A nice double taunt. The Winds is going to take down Lil Phoenix, but even Cease and Assist has made their way up from the bot lane. Vampiric here forced to get away from the red buff Fish Emulsion with a flash to finish, making it down before Blades can come support. So a big scuffle there on the top side of the map, but it is going to result in a 1-for-1 red buff still available.
Yeah, the red buff has still survived. I thought Vampiric was just going to go back and go onto the red buff. There's a couple autos that have the smite available, but got bloodthirsty trying to suck away all the life from Phoenix. And Lil Phoenix lived for quite a long time, and I thought Vampiric might have been the one getting in trouble there. But ultimately, QC Nugget on that Galio in the mid lane gets the first blood, and as you said, Fish Emulsion contributed the flash but got the counter kill. Now, looks like it is going to be Lil Phoenix first to the top Scuttle Crab, and not even opting for this red buff yet. We'll see if Vampiric will be able to get to the bot Scuttle in time, but already with Nautilus there, I think that this Nocturne has to play far away.
Yeah, and this Nautilus has invested a lot of time playing on the mid and top side of the map. Not so dark, laning alone here, but fortunately Kaisa Nami not able to put too much pressure, so still able to keep up and farm a little bit despite the support leaving for a good while.
Yeah, and it looks like that is going to be about all of the early action that I'm seeing at 5 minutes in here. Next thing is going to be level 6s across the board, and there's some scary level 6s drafted for both sides.
There are a big level 6 comp here for the Mystic Omega team. They really want to get these dives going. And on the other side, also some global roam opportunities. Fish Emulsion has the ability to support from across the map. Swedish Pancakes and Lil Phoenix and both come charging from very far away from Fog of War. So we'll see which of these teams will be making that first play.
Yeah, I was looking at that in the draft here, Potato, before you joined us, because as I was mentioning, that was a 4-5 slam of Galio Nocturne. Like, this is like one of the iconic level 6 go in, play the map, play those ultimate timers. And it was partnered with the Shen Stand United as a B1 pick for Mythic Omega. So they were taking this on early, and then really continued with it in the second half. So bot lane is where all these champions can get to, but I thought honestly that TDS Knights did have a great response to it, right? They have the Weaver's Wall from Talia, and they have the Cannon Barrage from Gangplank. So all 4 of these solo laners can impact the entire map with their level 6s. They're not there yet, but Cease and Assist is already topside. Ooh, the Spell Shield's not going to land. Now Blades might be looking for something. Now
Yeah,
there's Stand
Nautilus
United.
still
That's
level
level 6.
3 here, while
Oh
the
my gosh.
Nami is level 5. So this is so much time invested away from the map. Not sure that they've been able to turn that into a definitive advantage for their team. I do like the first move there towards the red buff, but now desperately in need of some XP, and Jinx also feeling a little bit more pressure here as the wave starts to go in.
Yeah, Jinx is not one of those champions that you really want to be letting just farm up in a 2v1 lane, Potato. This is a champion that is immobile, does not have much crowd control, and is so reliant on getting scaling and damage, but doesn't seem like TDS Knights cares very much, and they're back to focusing topside.
They are, and Blades is forced to flash away in that 2v1 scenario. Nautilus now finally making it back into the lane. It's going to
Down
run
2
into the
levels.
enemies, but look at all this damage coming out onto the health bars. Unable to find a hook and gets traded on very heavily. It does mean that Jinx is able to hit level 6 here with all the solo EXP that Not So Dark has been able to pick up, but so far not quite yet the opportunity for a map play.
Yeah, now level 6 is not even up for Vampiric yet. I am surprised to see the bot lane for Mythic Omega playing so passively. They're getting engaged on Don't Let Me Sub is just let Boo Psycherman just fend for themselves. Now they have to flash away. It feels like you have a level advantage, but they are not using it at all. Instead trying to secure the dragon, but they're getting collapsed on.
Yeah, roaming to the dragon, but that is 4 members now showing up to the fight. But it is going to be 4 members of both teams. Stand United also available as well. The Nocturne goes down first. The Galio is next in the site. McNugget forced to start running away. The Jinx is flashing to try and follow the Zap, just barely missing out. Here comes the Shen ulti, is going to start joining. The Galio also with a nice ulti is going to hit Swedish Pancakes and finish them off while surviving as well. The Global is coming into play here. Mystic finding the advantage in this dragon fight, just barely living out.
It did look bad when QC, Nugget, and Vampiric were caught in the pit solo, but as you said, the global ultimates getting through and turning the fight in their favor. Dragon is still alive, but as we noticed, these teams don't care about any kind of neutrals. They just want to fight. They're looking for blood.
Yeah, just such a large brawl there already. GP unable to join in, but did invest the cannon barrage to help out a little bit. And it looks like both teams immediately wanting to head back towards this objective. The last fight was won with an excellent Shen ulti and Galio ulti, but we'll see what happens on the second clash if they decide to have another contest.
Yeah, because these are long ultimates for these champions here. Galio, even if they wanted to join it, it's still nearly 2 minutes until the hero's entrance is available once again. And for Shen, a similar story. Like, there is no way. These ultimates are so reliant on these small timers, but Vampiric's got his and gets the steal!
Yeah, the paranoia coming in, but now Vampiric is left in a 1v4, tries to flash out, but that last auto from Jinx is able to secure the kill. A little more gold going into their pocket, but the objective going over to Mystic.
Yeah, and maybe, you know, that is a kill as well as the flash that you get from Vampiric, but Vampiric trades for the first Mountain Dragon. Lil Phoenix now on the bot side with their level 6 available, have the unstoppable onslaught, and it looks like a bait might be getting set up. If Don't Let Me Sup and Book Psycher Man step too far forward, they could be in a world of pain.
Yeah, the tidal wave is available though, and the Nautilus is still here on level 4. So
A lot of
we'll see
time.
if they find the engage angle
There
while
it is.
Kaisa is alone. Nami's clearing the wave. Kaisa is flashless here. There is
Oh,
the unstoppable onslaught, but it misses. A nice wave to disengage, but the Scion Q is there. Busaiker Man desperately trying to kite away, getting to the
oh!
blast cone, but a nice hook from Cease and Assist is going to bring the assist and give the kill to Not So Dark there on the Jinx.
Wow, so much patience from TDS Knights, and their patience was rewarded. A great continuation from that play. Back to back dredge lines are landing that secure them the kill. And that was a lot that Don't Let Me Sup and Boost Ikerman tried to use to disengage from the fight, but to no avail. That just means the summoner spells were spent and the kill still went away from them. So TDS Knights is happy if that's the exchange that they got from there.
Yeah, punishing that Kaisa flash timer from the earlier engagement, bringing those three people down. Nice lane gank angle. So finding a good pickup here. Now, we do see Don't Let Me Sup providing some support there to the mid lane. Nautilus is once again roaming, a bit of brawling on the top lane, but nothing too big happening just yet.
Yep, but as we mentioned, that 2 minute timer has come and gone. QC Nugget and Blades with the Stand United and Heroes entrance available. They have their ultimates. That objective looks like is going to be the Rift Herald. And if Blades can get a reset here, might be able to join this next fight. These teams are both so reliant on their ultimates, and Cease and Assist is yet to hit level 6 on the map.
Yeah, still stuck on that level 5 due to all of these roam timings. It does look, though, for the moment at least, that the Herald is going to go uncontested. All the ultimates
Vampiric
are available, but it looks like Talia's
might
moving
look to
up. Yeah,
go.
but they're all running into each other now, and Vampiric is going to Spell Shield the root from Nautilus, but not the hook. Here is Nugget coming in with a large engaged taunting in 3. Now, many members very low. We are going to start see the bodies falling here. Not So Dark is going to try and contribute to the DPS. A nice Rocket is going to pick up the double. Barely going to miss Nugget with the zap, but the shutdown is going to go over to Lil Phoenix. A big team fight win off of some great plays for the side of TDS.
Not So Dark with both of those kills, picking it up with the Super Mega Death Rocket. Their screens might be dark from Nocturne, but the team is not. The Herald was claimed, dropped into mid lane, some great advantages, and exploding this gold lead here. Yes, he got the ultimates, but that was not enough without having Kaisa at the fight, and a team fight win for TDS Knights.
Yeah, the Nocturne just getting caught out a little bit early there and missing the DPS from the ADC does mean that the teamfight victory is going to go over the TDS. It looked like a really valiant effort. Galio in particular, QC Nugget there with a huge ultimate into taunt follow-up CC chain, but the rest of the supporting damage was just not available, and the DPS output from TDS gave them that victory.
Yeah, you're right. The supporting damage, like, it's not there. If you take a look at these champions, they got some great utility. But you're right about the damage potato. I think they're lacking just a little bit there, especially without Boo Sykerman at the fight. Kaisa stayed bot side that entire time, and Jinx had moved up. Not So Dark just walked to the fight. They said, we want to play around the Herald, and it netted them the team fight win in so many plates when they dropped it immediately afterwards. So you're right. You got utility, you got knockups, you got shields, you got kind of everything you need, but the thing that you're missing is the damage. And so I'm going to have to see how Kaisa, when they join the fights, if they're going to be able to dish out enough damage. Because if they're not able to do it, this could be kind of scary because, you know, you can look flashy, but you might not have the damage to make it happen.
Yeah, and with Dragon coming up in 20, that might make for another engagement. The Heroic Entrance and the Stand United, not yet available, but the rest of the ultimates are. Cannon Barrage is coming up very soon. Weaver's Wall not quite up, but we do have 4 out of 5 ultimates available for TDS for this fight. The members are starting to congregate. We do have a nice hook, starting things out, targeting the Nami here, who's just going to
This is
absolutely get
not get to
PC
move.
chained to death. The tidal wave is going to mean nothing. QC Nugget forced to disengage, cease and assist right there with another great pinpoint accuracy engage onto the enemy to secure the objective.
Yeah, so Nami is not a frontliner. You cannot stand as that primary initiation. We saw what happens. cease and assist just threw an anchor through that fish. And then on top of Lil Phoenix, channeling that Q, getting the knock up, you got the stun and the traps from Jinx, the auto attack, the fling back from Swedish Pancakes. Like, they had everything they needed. And I swear that fish was CC'd for like 4 seconds right there.
Yeah, they really did not have the opportunity to move around very much. Cease and assist, going fishing, catching the prey, the rest of the team ready to support as well. The single target lockdown chain, as you mentioned, just so potent from the side of TDS.
Yeah, that level of potency from the crowd control and engagement they get a pick is huge. I'm a little bit worried about the team fight because a lot of this damage is single target. There is the Nautilus hook. Even Talia can do some multi-target damage, but is primarily single target too. However, I am looking at Fish Emulsion in the top lane. This isn't the fish that Don't Let Me Sup has drafted with Inami, but this is the top laner for TDS Knights. Already on 2 items, but now might be getting collapsed on.
Yeah, but handily winning the 1v2 so far. Blaze going down to crucial HP from an excellent barrel there. Now Vampiric is going to try and chase, but not quite going to find the target. So that Paranoia not finding value now. And this Nocturne pick struggling just a little bit. The ultimate's not finding the kills that you want to snowball. Not quite hitting the item breakpoints either and getting caught out a little bit in these early team fights. We'll see if they're able to have a better impact as the game continues.
Well, Swedish Pancakes now getting haunted up, but not enough damage. QC Nugget, that is a player on Mythic Omega to keep your eyes on. 3-1-1, does have a CS disadvantage, but at least hasn't been dying quite as much. You're right, that Fembiric has not been able to get the game moving from the jungle, and the Paranoia is kind of being a big part of that here. But with 1 dragon apiece and 17 minutes in, as we take stock of this game, it seems like a pretty massive disadvantage for Mythic Omega in this first match.
Yeah, 7,000 gold lead already, surprisingly, at 17 minutes, which is very significant. The kills wouldn't tell you that, but it's beyond that. We see really nice CS advantages there in the top lane and the mid lane, as well as those fight victories, many towers going down across the map. So slowly accumulating all of these advantages to help their team.
Yep, and one of the stats that you don't see on the scoreboard is Fish Emulsion's champion. Right? Gangplank puts in so much extra gold into the game just from the different silver serpents that can get traded in. Fish Emulsion by themselves has already plundered 644 additional gold just from that ability here. That's not including the additional 50 farm that they have. This top laner legitimately has 4,000 more gold than Blades does top lane. Like, this is just a massive top lane gap in the gold department, and now Don't Let Me Sub trying to face check again, pretending to be a frontliner.
Yeah, maybe a bit of a support gap too, as Season Assist hits another great hook onto that Nami. But yeah, you're right, this GP almost with twice the gold of their opposing member on the opposite side. There's another Paranoia trying to find it, but where's the damage? Just look at this. Vampiric just not able to find the finish here. Fish Emotion surviving for such a long time. Finally is going to go down to the Nocturne, but the rest of the team is here to support. Galio there ready to frontline, but Jinx is free hitting onto the backline. Busikerman ults in, but is unable to find any sort of finish now. Forced the flash out, and Jinx is still free firing the rockets. Going. That is going to be another trying to find the pickup to QC Nugget. The ultimate is not going to get there, so it's not going to be the quadra kill, but a free triple picked up for this Jinx. Now 9-0 3, 8,800 gold on that champion. Is a very, very strong AD carry, now going to try and solo out the Rift Herald after that team fight.
Yeah, ultimately that was a 4-for-4 though, with Not So Dark and QC Nugget on either side being the lone survivors of the team fight. And that was without Don't Let Me Sup in the fight at all. Now they might be looking for a 1v1, but like you mentioned, a 9-0 Jinx is forced to flash out and has gold to spend. Looks like maybe a little bit of a tempo throw from Not So Dark, but they're going to be fine just to reset, spend their 3,000 gold, finish the Infinity Edge already, but by getting back on the map first, Mythic Omega has claimed the Rift Herald.
Yeah, a little bit ambitious trying to find the solo onto the Herald there, but buying IE straight up from a pickaxe, that is something that you will take any day of the week if you're ADC. Now going into probably a Phantom Dancer to still increase their damage output even further. This third Drake of the map coming out in 5 seconds. Kaisa and Galio a bit
Nope,
soloed
yeah.
out in this
And
mid
no
lane. The
ultimate.
Nautilus engage is going to start things off. Now QC Nugget is going to be caught in the middle of 4 members. Boocyker Man is going to go down, as is QC Nugget, so that should be a very free objective now. Jinx going to go directly to go push for the mid lane as the remaining members head towards the dragon.
Yeah, and that is a challenge with these ultimate timers being as long as they are, Potato. Both Boocykerman and QC Nugget do not have their ultimates available, and this team is so reliant on having ultimates available to be able to fight in these games. And I mean, it's just not there. Like, if you don't have every ultimate available, team fights become so much harder. And we saw what happened. They tried to get some mid prio before the dragon had spawned, but they had no way to fight their way out of there, and the rest of the team was not able to collapse. So the second dragon for them, the gold lead remains about as large as it was at 17 minutes, 3 minutes later. But now sights are onto the Baron. We'll have to see if there is enough of a lead for TDS Knights to start it up and force a response, but looks like they will be starting it. We'll
Yeah,
have
it
to see
is a
now
little
ultimates are
bit
available.
cold. All 5 members of the enemy team are available on the map. They're going to take a lot of damage from this Baron, and Galio R is going to love coming to this pit here. Here's Paranoia committed already, and already a huge Galio ultimate starting to get not so dark now, 1 HP, trying to kite away from the fight, but surely is going to not be able to contribute too much more. Now we see Low Phoenix in the middle of everything. Boocyker Man going down to fish emulsion there. A taunt coming out from the Shin, trying to duel Swedish pancakes there on the top side. Talia kiting away and is going to get away. Low Phoenix nearly taking down Blades, but Blades is going to go down to Swedish pancakes. Now, don't let me support the last remaining member and is going to get shot in the face by fish emulsion with a triple kill and an ace coming through, finding the 5 for 3.
The team fight was there. The ultimates were off cooldown, but it was not enough for Mythic Omega to get the team fight win. That was a 4-man ultimate from QC Nugget, landing with the hero's entrance and making a statement. But again, it was not enough. It felt like Not So Dark was able to just run away so quickly from the fight, and Boo Psycherman did not have the range advantage to match. Not So Dark did end up falling, but ultimately, still, as you said, it's a team fight win for TDS Knights, and they are not at a point where they can win the fights with this big of a disadvantage. And now with 3.5 items completed on Gangplank, 3 and a bit, or 2.5 items on Jinx, we're still at the point where this is all TDS Knights.
Yeah, we saw some valiant effort coming in from QC Nugget, finding these really nice Galley ultimates throughout the game, but that was just a bit of a wallet diff. Now the Baron going to start once again. This Nocturne getting instantly hooked, rooted, and taken down without the jungler in the picture. It's going to be a free Baron pickup. Now they're collapsing towards the mid lane, towards QC Nugget,
they're
and the
going.
Nami. There's the Scion ulti committed, unstoppable, charging towards the enemy. A good bubble to disengage, but the rest of the team wants more, now turning their sights to the mid lane.
And they have a Baron wave with them. Cease and assist flashing in.
Oh, flash hook from Cease and Assist. A bit of a star performance on this first game, finding so many picks for their team. Don't let me sup now going down again. This is going to be a free take of the mid lane towers. The top lane towers already falling now to double lane pressure for this team with Baron Minions. There's the Paranoia engaging onto gameplay. Can they survive there? Cannon Barrage laid down on their face. The rest of the team is there. A nice Prowler's Claw to pick up the Nocturne there, just aggressing right back onto the jungler, and the team's pressure does not stop.
Yeah, no one can match Fish Emulsion in the side lane, even sending 2 members. All 5 still alive for TDS Knights. The top inhibitor, the next under pressure. That tower falls. MTC getting engaged on once again.
Yeah, another hook into a CC chain. The Zonias is going to be committed, but right onto the Jinx traps means no chance of survival. Not So Dark is going to get aggressed on by Blades, but with 4 members around, it means that they will be able to survive here. Now 5 people barreling down towards the base. Vampiric is going to respawn right now, but can they hold up to all these members, all these minions? Fish Emulsion getting very low, but Vampiric again caught by the CC chain, just instantly erased from the map, spawns just to die once more. Lil Phoenix standing in front of everyone. This Kaisa doing trivial damage to the Scions. The Nexus is going to be taken down. 24-minute game 1 victory. A quick and fast one off of some great team play by TDS.
With some amazing team play. They got the early advantages in all of their lanes and were able to push it through to the victory. It did feel like it was MTC looking for aggressive plays. Mythic Omega tried to make plays happen with their ultimates, but at the time they were looking and the timers, it was too little and too late. They just didn't have the gold advantage to play the fights on an even playing field.
Yeah, just losing a few team fights back to back throughout the game. Some of them were a little close, but as the game progressed, they became further and further apart. I think a few of those key moments, Kaisa unable to join in for that Rift Herald fight up in the top lane, gave a pretty big advantage over to TDS, and then after that, they were kind of able to run away with these team fights. Some laning differences too, finding really large CS leads throughout the game as well.
Yeah, you're right. And the gold advantage just got big and stayed there. Like 7,000 gold we were seeing there, Potato, at the like 14-minute mark. And like you said, it was like kind of just felt it was a little insurmountable at that point.
Yeah, the wallet difference a little bit too crushing, but
Yeah.
we'll see whether something can turn around for game 2. I mean, we see some great plays coming out from QC Nugget. The idea for the team comp was there, so I'd like to see something similar, but maybe just with a bit more execution for the second game.
Yeah, and I'm going to be looking at what Don't Let Me Sup is going to be picking for game number 2. The Nami was a blind pick to pair with Kaisa, and it got punished incredibly hard in the bot lane. Just the Nautilus picked up. It felt like Nautilus was landing all of the hooks. Now that's a guy I would let support because they were landing all the key engages. And it made such a difference in these team fights. They were the primary player. They were level 3 until like
Yeah,
7 or 8 minutes into that game, it felt like, Potato. But
roll me
once they
around.
were rolling, oh my gosh.
Yeah, just finding so many great picks there and ending the game 2 levels up on the opposite number. The Nami there really just not able to find the same amount of impact, usually picked as a laning pressure sort of champion. But even in the 1v2, not able to find a meaningful advantage into Jinx, who was kind of allowed to free farm. And as soon as those hooks started coming across, things evened up real quick.
It sure did, and it felt like some domination across the lane. So we'll have to see what Mythic Omega does in game number 2 to try to keep this series close. We're going to take a short break while we get set and settled for the draft of game number 2. It's a best of 3 this evening between Mythic Omega and TDS Knights. We'll see you in just a moment. We got some banter in the chat as we get set and settled for game number 2 between TDS Knights and Mythic Omega. The sides have been swapped, the players have hit ready, and it is time for the draft. Mythic Omega, opting to ban away the Nautilus. That was a pretty beefy boy in the front line last game, piloted off of cease and assist.
Yeah, a beefy boy, but also a picky boy, just finding relentlessly those CC chains, followed up by the rest of the team. And GP also taken out. No more 4,000 top lane gold advantage at that early state in the game.
No, but Mythic Omega won game one, or sorry, TDS Knights won game one, and they had no issues with their bans. They're back to the Vi, the Heimerdinger, and the Janna. Meanwhile, some big shakeups here. It has left open. Looks like Silas, Mordekaiser, Swain were Mythic Omega's first three bans. Those are on the table. We'll have to see if any of those do get picked up now that they are open. But TDS Knights opting for a B1 Caitlyn. This feels like something we haven't seen in quite a while here, Potato.
Yeah, but this is something that I don't mind at all, actually. Caitlyn, one of those champions that's able to find just so much lane pressure into the opponent under the right circumstances, can just ceaselessly push waves in, get all your plates, get all your mid laners plates, get all your top laners plates, and if the ball starts rolling, it can be very hard to stop.
It really can be here. That is definitely a point where you got to be a little afraid here. It looks like Mythic Omega now, with their response, has opted for the Ezreal. And now for the jungle pick, the Elise was hovered, but is Diana going to be locked in?
I actually wouldn't have minded the Elise there. Not a
No.
pick that we see all that commonly, but ganking jungler is one of the best options to try and punish this kind of Caitlyn pick that wants to push waves in nonstop. Diana, though, still a very powerful farmer and a very powerful teamfight presence.
With the Amumu hovered, this was something that Mythic Omega had banned away in the second half of the draft. I do expect that to be Lil Phoenix piloting the Amumu. Has only played one game of it so far this season, but had a 4 KDA on the champion. Seems like something that they have some comfort on as well here, so I do expect that to be the matchup here. And Amumu, that can be a scary champion, that little mummy running around the jungle. And a new pick. This is not something we see Plant Lady in the bot lane. This looks like a Zyra support.
I love it. So much zone control, so much pushing power for the spot lane, right on theme. Going to make it very difficult for Ezreal and their lane partner to play the game. We'll see what the support answer will be if they're able to find something that can match the pressure that
I don't even know
TDS is putting out.
what I would be picking in a Zyra support. Like, I don't really know. You know, it's not Champion C very much. Oh, Mythic Omega opting to go back to the Nami as the choice. It's their
Yeah.
second most played after Janna, so I guess they said let's take away the Janna, and then they're not left with too much. So I guess it's gonna be Nami again.
Yeah, I understand the comfort here, but I just don't feel like it's that great in context of the lane and the game. Nami, one of those champions that wants to be paired with either aggressive or long range ADC to take advantage of the trading power of the E. Ezreal, just not an ADC that can use that all that effectively unless you find some really strange angles there. And Zero Nami here also going to find some range problems, I think, trying to trade into the Caitlyn Zyra, but we'll see if they prove me wrong. Galio taken out away from Mythic Omega, I love that. QC Nugget definitely having a big impact in that previous game.
Yeah, and QC Nugget did pick it as a blind pick and was countered by the Talia. Even in the counter matchup, I felt like they did exceptionally well in the mid lane, getting the early kills, not dying as much as the team was around them. Did go down a little bit of CS, but to be expected in a range versus melee matchup here. So now QC Nugget opting to pick up something else and has to. A couple more bans that we saw last game, the Shen also taken away. We'll have to see now. Swedish Pancakes, QC Nugget, both lots of options available. I wonder if something like Kassadin could be a potential answer to match the Diana. It also could be their Diana that they're taking mid.
That is true. Yeah, Diana, one of those champions that is pretty flexible, can be a nice way to hide some draft ideas as well. We'll have to see what this fourth pick is going to be. Is likely going to have to be a blind here.
Likely a jungler is what I expect to see, but nothing locked in. We'll have to see what that pick actually is in the chat. Xerath is what is getting typed in here. So
Oh,
Xerath mid.
okay.
So that's a long range artillery mage, which I guess can kind of fit well with Ezreal here, but feels very anti-synergistic.
Yeah, I mean, Diana, one of those champions that kind of want to go in. Nami sort of wants to engage, and they have this long range poke here. I mean, I would have honestly like to see the Xerath better support
Yeah.
if the Nami was not here to counter the Caitlyn Zyra push. And now Olaf walked in, someone that wants to
Oh
just
man.
run straight at them. This Amumu certainly going to be very potent as well to the immobile Xerath Nami Diana combo here. So TDS going to look to round out their draft Pantheon,
Oh my
furthering
gosh.
that aggression.
Yeah, that is just putting the exclamation mark at the end of this aggression from TDS Knights. Game number one was won with convincing fashion after punishing early mistakes for Mythic Omega. In this game, they're going all in on aggression. So Mythic Omega needs to try to peel back and run away. Dr. Mundo as the top lane champion. That's typically not a champion that wants to run very far. We'll have to see how that matchup pairs up. But I feel like if Olaf can get rolling and just like Ragnarok through the faces of Mythic Omega, this could be a scary Viking to stop in its tracks.
Yeah, Olaf is seeming a little unstoppable here already. Maybe it's a bit too early to call, but just
Yeah, not even level
thematically from
6
the
yet.
team comp, like where are they going to find the damage to take down this marauding beast? I mean, we saw some really great decisive team fighting from TDS in that last game. This game, I'm expecting to see some Pantheon ultis, maybe a flash of Mumu R to get things going once that ulti is almost about to land and the rest of the team starting to roll through. But we'll see if Mythic Omega is able to find their counterplay here. Maybe there will be some angles where, you know, Diana and Xerath is going to try and to punish a melee matchup here in the mid lane. Maybe we'll see the Pantheon, which I presume is going mid, can get harassed out a little bit. So we'll see if any of those end up being answers.
Yeah, we'll have to see what the answer is in this game 2 from Mythic Omega. The champions have changed. The Nami, the only consistent champion out of all 10 of these from the last game. Otherwise, though, it's 19 new champions on the Rift in the second game.
Yeah, and we love to see some variety out here. We'll see whether the execution is going to be any better from the side of Mythic Omega or whether TDS is going to continue a very, very dominant game one to finish out the streak.
Yeah, we'll have to see if they can close it out here, and they got the aggression to do so. We'll have to see if that does come back to bite them a little bit here. The final champions are getting locked in, though. You've heard some of our analysis. Now we want to hear yours. Vote with your channel points right now in the chat. Give us your prediction. Who's going to win game number 2 today? Is it going to be Mythic Omega forcing us to a game number 3? Or will TDS Knights end the series right here? On the other side of a short spectator delay, we will find out as well right alongside of you. So get those points in, refill your water bottle, do what you got to do, and we will see you after the break. It is time for Mythic Omega to show us what they got in this game number 2. The series is up to them to bring it back. They are down 1 game against TDS Knights. In this level 1, they're looking for something a little bit spicy to try to get the early advantage.
Yeah, it looks like what they got is a level 1 invade here, but it is going to get spotted out by this Caitlyn Zyra. I would have expected maybe the other team to be invading with the Nami, but a nice bubble is going to catch Cease and Assist. RA making up for some of the mistakes of the previous game, forcing out the flash from Zyra early.
Yeah, that's a great bubble to land and force a flash. Cease and Assist is coming off of an awesome performance on the Nautilus. Zyra, a very, very different stylistic champion here. With all 5 members bot lane, though, it does mean that 3 members of TDS Knights have moved up topside, and we'll have to see if this is going to get sniffed out or checked from Blades. Blades does get the ward, but not spotted yet. They're going to be looking for him.
Now going to run into all 3. There is the axe to start things off, and a flash forced out already. Olaf does have the ghost there, so there's not going to be a flash follow, but that does mean the red buff is going to go down to TDS.
This might force Vampiric into a vertical jungle, which I think is actually okay, because Lil Phoenix, yeah, you might be able to take away this red buff early, but you want to be supporting your Caitlyn Zyra lane and also chain ganking on the mid. I guess you can kind of play topside here, but it feels like Caitlyn needs the early aggression, and if Vampiric is going to camp bot side, it might be not quite as good. Lil Phoenix, though, opting for the red buff and immediately crossing their side jungle. Vampiric is already down here. We'll have to see if these junglers meet up in the bot quadrant.
Yeah, it does look like Vampiric is going straight for the buff, whereas Lil Phoenix is going for the Raptors, but now they're going to run into each other. Diana looking to aggress, does pick up the Raptors, actually all Raptors there, but Swedish Pancakes, yeah, with the Pantheon jump, there's the early game power. The Ignite is going to take it down for first blood, and Lil Phoenix very conveniently lands straight onto QC Nugget there. We're going to get the spear follow-up. QC Nugget starting to get kind of low here, but looks like they've run out of juice. No further follow-up is available, but a quick and easy first blood for this Pantheon.
Swedish Pancakes on Pantheon. This is an early aggressive champion if I've ever seen one. They need to get rolling, and they need to get rolling early, and Swedish Pancakes has done just that. Opting for the Corrupting Potion early for the trading as well as the sustain. Not a very common start right now, but has given them the first blood, and now QC Nugget, they're going to be a little bit more in trouble after Swedish Pancakes gets the first reset off. A great double bubble in the bot lane, though. Some aggressive trading back.
Yeah, a nice couple bubble finds there from Don't Let Me Sup on the Nami, and actually even opting to take the Glacial for their keystone here. Not the most common choice, but something that can extend those CC chains.
Yeah, the consistent extended, it has a little bit more of the slow. It's pretty guaranteed once you also have the wave available. Tidal Wave can start absorbing some of that as well. And it looks like pretty matched CS lead topside. Vampiric now in the mid lane, but does not land the Q. That means the E does not get reset. Swedish Pancakes, also the flash available, so there's not much of an option in mid.
Yeah, QC Nugget wanting to take advantage of this range gap if possible, but if Pantheon gets rolling a little bit more, it's going to be very hard. A flash W is going to mean certain death at a certain point, but not quite yet at this state in the game. Diana opting to finish out the jungle clear, Amumu having to reset already, and on to the second clear.
And QC Nugget opting to go for the barrier so they won't have much kill pressure. Yeah, they're trying to get a little bit of poke down on a Swedish Pancakes, but Swedish Pancakes is staying a lot more healthy, both health and mana. Blades and Fish Emulsion trading aggressively topside, but that axe will not land. Blades, grateful that they're not a mana champion, so can at least be trading some of their health bar back.
Yeah, axe missing and Fish Emotion very low on mana, just has enough for one more axe, but who needs mana when you have auto attacks? The Ignite and 2 more autos is going to finish things off. Blades going down, Olaf now with a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, felt like got put in a blender with a little bit of mackerel there. That is a Fish Emulsion getting torn to pieces, getting that extra kill onto Blades.
Yeah, emulsifying their enemies right there. Diana was hovering around the bot lane for a little bit there, but nothing to be found. Now we're going to see the Mystic bot lane start to get their first reset, picking up the Sheen, so Ezreal is going to be pretty happy with that pickup. Now the enemy bot lane yet to go home.
Swedish Pancakes, okay, taking a little bit of poke here. This is what we wanted to see from QC Nugget. They do have the first strike as well, so they got a little bit of gold. Swedish Pancakes does have to be a little bit worried. Like you said, there is the potential Flash W engage from Swedish Pancakes. But if they don't have 100 to 0, then they could be in trouble. So this is a great reset, and now some poke coming out from QC Nugget. Right? Like, look at this. Swedish Pancakes forced to kind of play safely here, but now 3 members in the mid lane trying to stave off the pressure, and it will force QC Nugget back to tower.
Yeah, the poke is landing, but the CS is not Swedish Pancakes here. Right around, ready to double the CS of QC Nugget, despite the heavy range disadvantage in this mid lane. So QC Nugget, it's great that they're applying pressure onto the lane opponent, but does have to start picking up a few more of these minions if they're going to continue to be impactful as the game goes on.
We do need to get ahead because this is a primary damage dealer. We talked about a little bit on the break potato, but the damage spread that Mythic Omega has drafted in the second game is not quite where we want to see it. A lot of magic damage picked up across the board, so Mercury Treads are going to be very, very valuable. But I mean, no one's built those quite yet here, and so with some of this early pressure, Vampiric looking on the dragon, not so dark in the area.
Yeah, not so dark fancy. A 1v3 maybe almost headshotting the Drake for the finish. Now forced to flash out. The Xerath poke coming out. The Ezreal Q barely missing, but is going to flash auto for the finish. Swedish Pancakes now joining on the fight. Already hitting level 6 there. Cease and assist for the flash route, but it's not going to hit Bootsyker Man. Would have had a great cleanse there. The Nami bubble also barely misses. That does mean Swedish Pancakes now going to go on a killing spree, picking up that extra kill in the bot lane.
3 kills to Swedish Pancake's pocket. Not so dark wanted the fight. Used both sums. Did not get a single kill in their name. But Swedish Pancakes get an early lead once again. So that's going to be great for this mid laner.
Yeah, slightly ambitious for the Caitlyn to just walk in directly there for a 1v3, but the mid laner was there to support. Now also picking up the plate onto this bottom tower. That's going to be a very wealthy Pantheon.
This is a very wealthy Pantheon. Nearly a 1,500 individual gold lead over top of QC Nugget. And that is also a Xerath with a first strike available. So, yeah, if you're QC Nugget, this guy's 0-0-1. I would not be too amused with my team after this early game because it looks like they're getting kills off the team. Don't Let Me Stop gets the bubble, but it's going to cost their life for it. I don't think that's a worth trade.
Yeah, cease and assist with a great ambush there from out of vision past the wall, landing the root, and that root means a one-shot in this lane. Nami, once again, we're seeing that champion be very squishy, a bit of a problem that was that last game. Now, Low Phoenix here for the mid lane. The flash burned by QC Nugget, but the damage is good. The barrier now going down as well. Swedish Pancakes needs one more Q, does find it on a rampage now. 4-0 on this early game champion, bringing down the pain.
And that was both summoners expelled from QC Nugget, and I expect Lil Phoenix to be back here soon. That just feels like you're using a lot. Not getting much. It looks like in topside, Fire Emulsion trading aggressively on the blades here. And already this early game, once again, is all TDS Knights.
Yeah, Fisher Motion really wanting it there, burning both the Ragnarok and the Ghost at a very out of reach Mundo. But the pressure is good. Mundo consistently forced to pick up waves under tower here in this top lane matchup, having to respect the Olaf early. Now a big wave going to crash into the tower. Fisher Motion maybe fancying a dive. Mundo popping the ulti to make sure that all of these minions are going to be picked up safely.
Now Little Phoenix is here and does have Curse the Sad Mummy. The Ignite is... Oh, but the minion aggro there.
Yeah,
a little bit of minion block. The Ignite still taking Fish Emulsion.
Fish Emulsion. Oh, executing. Yeah, cease and assist now caught out in a 1v3 in the bot lane. Diana with the ultimate invested as well is going to give the kill over to Bootsyker Man. Now there is the ultimate Curse of the Sad Mummy going to pick up blades there on the regank after Swedish Pancakes shows up once again. Now that's going to be a lot of free time on this top tower.
Swedish Pancakes gets another kill gifted to him, now 5-0 on this Pantheon. Fish Emulsion, I think, might have played that as badly as possible in the top lane, using Ignite, walking back into tower. Typically, Mundo is a champion who goes where he pleases, but in this case, it was back to the gray screen. was been forced to sit under tower. Vampiric now on the bot side, but does not have the ultimate available. Moonfall is not up, but face checking is cease and assist, and now they might try to get the damage down.
Checking a second time, but that's a lot of damage going on to the Diana. Both ultimates are going to miss there. The Xerath going to try and support with the ultimate as well, but the shots are not good. Does not manage to hit them. Not so dark, very intelligently backing off there earlier as well, knowing that 4 members of Mystic were committed to that bot side after the support died, gave up a wave to come and continue the play afterwards. Vampiric a little bit deep in the enemy jungle, very low as well, but is not going to get spotted out by the Mumu. Going to go for that red steel. Pantheon in the area, but is not going to spot it, so does get away with that invade.
It's away with the invade and goes back out. Is low on resources. Vampiric now just back to their own jungle. QC Nugget does have the barrier back alive, but no flash, but an eclipse completed for Swedish Pancakes. QC Nugget also forced to stay under tower here. Both these solo lanes just unrelenting pressure pushing forwards. Now cease and assist is unlocked from the bot lane map. Dragon in 20 seconds, and I do expect this to be an easy claim and pickup from TDS Knight.
Yeah, we'll see if they start moving the members down. Already looking for some early vision control. That Eclipse and Mercury Treads combo here for the Pantheon is going to make them probably the most powerful member on the Rift at this point in the game. Now, all the surrounding vision that Mythic has put down has been cleared out. It's going to be a Mumu and Zyra starting up this Drake.
The Drake is started, and there's not going to be much of a response here. It is a reset from Vampiric. They did stay on the map while low on resources, like you've named Potato, and they're going to go topside here. A second Dragon. It is actually the first one for TDS Knights, but second one from the map, and now a Mountain Soul is what we are going to be seeing on the Rift. That's going to make the tanky even tankier. Mundo, I see as the primary member. He'll be loving that, but Lil Phoenix as well. Only a couple of tanks we've seen this game, so it's going to be a little bit less valuable. Lil Phoenix now might be fighting Vampiric.
Yeah, 4 members of TDS going for this red buff invade. Already catching out Vampiric there. Is going to start getting run down by the rest of the members. Swedish Pancakes now aggressing onto QC Nugget, who is forced to run away as fast as they can. The ace in the hole available as well is going to get committed, so the kill is going to not so dark. Now that is a free red buff. The rest of the members forced to back away now after 2 going down in that skirmish. Nice movement across the map.
You're right. The ace in the hole was committed, but I think really what was committed there was murder. QC Nugget using the barrier and falling for it regardless. Swedish Pancake on such a big advantage. Boo Sykerman has not roamed up here. So again, this is the second game in a row where we've seen Mythic Omega's ADC not joining with the team and not matching their rotations. And so they're trying to just get caught up and farm. Meanwhile, it is unlocked, not so dark, to roam around the map and allow TDS Knights to get the Herald now. We'll see if they can get this down in the next 30 seconds because plates are about to expire.
Yeah, it'll be a tight timing for sure. The Herald is picked up now. Half a minute to go until plates fall. And it was a very creative invade angle onto the red, actually. Last game, the Herald fight maybe a little bit more telegraphed a big objective there for the pickup. But here it's just 4 members knowing we have the gold advantage. We're going to move people up, catch them out on that rotation, and get our free kills and get our free objectives afterwards.
They are not going to get their free plates from the Rift Herald pickup, Potato, so I'm a little bit bummed to see that. Lil Phoenix did reset. It was pre-14 minutes when the Herald was claimed, but they did opt to reset. At this point now, the tower plates have fallen, the plower tates, whatever you want to be calling it, they have fallen down. But Lil Phoenix looks like QC Nugget might be going down. They're kind of looking like a tower in the mid lane.
Yeah, Mystic going for their own play in the bot lane, though, wanting to find the shutdown onto Swedish Pancakes, but the block is good, so it's going to be QC Nugget traded back in the mid lane instead. Pantheon surviving here. The 800 gold is not going to be picked up by the enemy, and in fact, Vampiric was going down to 1 HP to the tower there, but now the rest of the team is ready to support. The stun is ready. Is Busaikerman going to get out a buffer onto the first bit of CC, but there is so much CC afterwards to follow up. Busaikerman going down here. 3 members now looking for this bot lane tower. Herald available as well.
Yeah, that was not just C or CC. That was like CCCCCCC there, Potato. I feel like this might be the ocean because there were like 7 Cs. They were locking down Boo Sykerman there. He used the cleanse, even used the arcane shift properly. But it didn't mean anything. It did not mean enough. That Ezreal still goes down, and now they are still playing aggressively. That's
Yeah,
going to be a kill in
flash
Not So Dark's
root.
pocket.
Catching
Oh,
out
they're still
Vampiric
going.
in rotation, and Mumu going on as well. No Curse of the Sad Mummy, but it does not matter. The rest of the team is too far ahead here. TDS just pushing mercilessly down onto this mid lane. Ultimate from Xerath going to go out. One hit is good, but not good for any more. Swedish Pancakes now ready to duel Boosykerman there. Boosykerman forced to shift away from this very scary Pantheon.
It is a scary boy in the mid lane now. Almost 4,000 individual gold in the matchup, sitting on 1,900 in their inventory. That's going to be a completed second item on reset. Meanwhile, Xerath still struggling to finish their first. This is definitely another blowout game, Potato. In game number 1, it was 17 minutes, 7,000 gold. This game, it is 16 minutes and 10,000 gold.
An even more pronounced lead in this game too. We've moved the 4,000 gold lead from top lane to mid lane. The Pantheon just finding all these consistent pickups. We're going to see another dragon spawning soon. Presumably it's going to go over to TDS. It looks like Vampiric wants to find something on the top side of the map. Does get the ult onto Fish Emoji, who's very low on mana there. So this might be the pickup, but Ghost is going to make this Olaf zoom away very quickly. So not even that kill going to be found in response. And now another route onto Don't Let Me Sup. This Zyra doing so much damage. Finding the last auto, doesn't even need the support of their teammates, picking once again on Don't Let Me Sup. It isn't the Nautilus, but it is the kill going over nonetheless.
Hill goes over, and that makes it 13 now for TDS Knights. Like you had mentioned, the Dragon has started, and TDS Knights are here as well. This will be an early and clean pickup for them. Don't Let Me Sup and Blades just coming out of base now. And at this point, as I'm taking a look at TDS Knights, their hopes are grim. And it's really just got to be on some scaling poke damage. All fights are bad. The most you can do is just try to clear the waves and force a bad dive under tower. I think you just try to hold where the structures are still standing and just try to keep the waves cleared, because they still need gold, because it is such a massive disadvantage.
Yeah, poke is hard though when a Mumu can just flash ult to get any fight started. And speaking of ult, there it is onto Vampiric. Going to get aggressed on by Little Phoenix. The rest of the team close behind. Vampiric is going to find the blast coming out, but that just means they're going to shift targets over to QC Nugget. QC Nugget burning the barrier once again. And Mumu finding a great bandage toss onto Don't Let Me Sup. Not So Dark on the flank, ready to pick up this Nami. Auto is going to start taking down their HP. Even in the top lane, these two members are brawling, looking for more and more shutdowns now on every single member of TDS.
Yeah, that's a lot of gold. Every structure, every player. If basically Mythic Omega kill anything, they will get a gold bounty for it. And they have not been able to do much of that in this game. Again, there were no towers down there, and so they had no support. I believe that one of the towers for Mythic Omega is about as strong as these players are, so they need to use those towers to their advantage. Stay underneath them. Again, farm the waves, get the gold, get the minions killed, because just the kill lead is so massive and it's contributing huge to the amount of gold difference. And so this is not a team though. TDS Knights has not been playing slow, but now Vampiric wants to try to claim for the red buff.
Yeah, Vampiric really wants to fight for this red buff, but Olaf says no. Fish Emulsion Ragnarocking his way straight through the Diana. They're now 0-6 on this pick. But Blades is here wanting to find part 2 of the fight. Ragnarok not available this time, so another kill is going to go over to Boosykerman. All 3 kills on the team here on this Ezreal. The furthest ahead of all of their teammates, but it's going to be tough finding damage onto these beefy boys.
You're right. The boys will only get beefier as the mountain dragons continue to fall. They did claim that one shutdown though. But Hannah, we said if they kill something, they're going to be getting shutdown gold. And they did. A bounty claimed off the head of Fish Emulsion and into the right player's pocket. You were right that Boosykerman's got a way to go to shred through. But a kill's a kill, gold's a gold, and shutdown is a shutdown. Now the Baron about to hit the Rift. Knowing this TDS Knight squad, I expect them to be starting it on spawn. They are already hovering around the area, and I expect this Baron to be going down before the timer even hits 21 minutes.
Yeah, one shutdown down, four to go. The members of Mystic trying to find their way to the Baron. Vampiric now very alone into the rest of the members. The bandage toss, first one is going to miss, but Lil Phoenix does not mind. Just flash ults, not so dark on a rampage there. No hope for Vampiric to
Yeah,
live that
QC
situation.
Nugget.
Now only four
Recyclerman, can they
members
use the
left.
ultimates?
Yeah, there could be a steal attempt. The first Xerath ult is going to go
Fish
down,
from above
providing
it.
a bit of vision, but TDS very intelligently holding off the rest of their damage. Now all the shots are expended. Swedish Pancakes just diving straight into the backline. No mercy for this Xerath, godlike now. But Bucykerman is able to find the trade, flashing
Blade's
away.
going.
Now Blades going on to cease and assist. Another shutdown found onto the Zyra. Blue Cyclerman is going to get traded back due to the damage of the Ignite. Now Not So Dark is going to start hitting, but Blades is not able to find the trade. Low Phoenix now finding the stun onto the Nami. Caitlyn unstoppable, picking up that final kill. 5 going down. Another 2 shutdowns traded back, including a very large shutdown on the Pantheon, but Baron is picked up. The team fight is found. The towers are still going to be pressured.
Towers are pressured, an open inhibitor bot side and another open inhibitor now mid. Lil Phoenix and Not So Dark still pushing forward and using the death timers to their advantage. Timers are ticking down. Blade's about to spawn now. Vampire could be collapsing. Not So Dark might be in trouble.
Yeah, trying to find this. Not So Dark get hit with a nice Xerath stun. Blue Cyclerman finding another shutdown now. Lil Phoenix is going to be in their sights, trying to run as fast as they can. The camp is there, so the escape is going to be found. Blue Cyclerman trying to shift forward, but Cease and Assist here is on the other side, finding the damage onto QC Nugget, and the rest of the team is running to try and support. Olaf coming in from the top side, but not quite finding the angle just yet. Blades looking to re-engage onto this Olaf. Fisher Motion getting very low here, actually, is expending the Ragnarok late. CC immune just down to 1 HP. QC Nugget is going to find it with the arcane blast. Swedish Pancakes now getting caught up with another bubble. A few missteps here from the side of TDS, giving over a lot of kills onto the opposing team. Now Cease and Assist trying to find the escape. The blast cone is going to take Vampiric right on along with them. Now either side can find this kill here. Cease and Assist is going to finally go down to that Diana, able to find the first kill on the map. And with the Dragon available, this might be a stall from Soul Point. Lil Phoenix is available on the other side to try and find the steal, potentially.
Look for he does.
Is going to miss. There's the Blast Cone. Is the Smite fight going to be won? Yes, it is. An early Smite from Vampiric means Lil Phoenix is going to be able to find it, and Not So Dark is there ready to help their teammate. 700 gold shutdown going over to Vampiric. Now Not So Dark running away from MTC Blades. Nice sidestep on the trap. A second trap going down, but not going to find an MTC Blades, with a lot of nice awareness around that situation, running down the Caitlyn. Maybe there's a hope. Yeah, the gold lead now holding steady at 10k.
Yeah, I mean, holding steady at 10k is still not what you love to see, Potato. But do you know what I do love to see? Take a look at all 5 players on TDS Nights. Do you see above their scoreline there? Are you seeing any kind of
shutdowns? Yeah.
No more shutdowns. All 5 players in that fight got shut down. It was one after another. Ezreal killed Swedish Pancakes for 600, and then Blades picked up Zyra for 150. Not So Dark was worth an extra 500. Lil Phoenix another 400. Just off shutdowns, these players made bank off of it. Just between that, like 1,700 gold just on shutdowns there, Potato. So negative Baron power play, but still this game is far from evened up, and QC Nugget is showing that they will not be long for the world. Fish and Molden picking up 1 bot.
QC Nugget feeling the hurt there, unluckily running into an Olaf, but Blades going to try and find the trade onto the top side, is going to get the tower, so the objective bounty is going to provide a little bit more gold to the rest of the team as well. This Ezreal actually getting very close to becoming the richest person on the map, getting very close to this 3rd item, at which point they can start to provide a very realistic threat to the opposing team. But now we see 4 members collapsing onto this mid inhibitor is going to get it down. 2 minutes until the Baron, so these super mini waves are going to start pressuring as well.
The 2 inhibitors are down, and Baron less than 2 minutes till the spawn. The only remaining tower that's not out on the Nexus is that top lane inhibitor. 5 members from TDS Knights hovering up here. They haven't quite swept out all of the vision. Now Cease and Assist is using that sweeper themselves. MTC Blades, not afraid to be the front line. That's the person you want to be going first, as long as it's Don't Let Me Sup leading the charge. But still, they're about to walk into 3 members. Little Phoenix going to find them, but there's a spell immunity.
Yeah, Little Phoenix starting off the CC chain. The first one is going to be absorbed. The rest is not. So much damage available to the TDS members now. Now taking down that crucial frontliner. There's no one else who is able to absorb these engages. Don't Let Me Sup getting caught by the bandage toss, followed by the
Little
curse of the
Phoenix.
sad mummy. A flash into the base to try and follow their tidal wave. Re-engage onto Little Phoenix. Busaikerman has them in their sights. Are they going to find the kill? The Olaf now stepping forward, wanting to ward off the aggression. Little Phoenix 1 HP, but does catch the crucial ADC. Vampiric, a killing spree actually, finding the trade onto the Amumu. The poke is starting to land, but it is the inhibitor falling down now. Triple inhibitor down with Baron coming up in 40 seconds. These super minion waves are going to be relentlessly crashing into the base.
Yeah, inhibitor now. That is all 3 of them in less than 30 seconds on the Baron. That means all these super minion waves are doubled up. That is going to be 6 super minions into the base. Vampiric might want to look for a Miracle Steal on the Baron to hold Mythic Omega's hopes still in this game. We'll see if that is possible.
Yeah, it might have to be a Miracle Steal here. A Baron up triple inhib super minion wave sounds like just too much to try and hold, but it is TDS already onto the Baron, not even waiting for their jungler to get over. They know they have the map control. They know that if they get this objective, it is likely going to be game over. Cease and Assist forward in the bush, trying to ward off any potential assault. The Ezreal ultimate there, 159 health away from taking the objective. True Shot Barrage almost landing for the steal, but not quite able to find it. And now that is Baron secured. That is going to be 5 members running straight down the mid lane. Super minion waves starting to crash from mid, from top, from bot. Can this be the final hold, or will this be the end for Mystic? The members are all assembled here. They're escorting the waves and they're playing patiently. Just what we like to see.
Members assemble. There's super minions still crashing into the base. But again, it's a 5-man hold. If they look under tower, it could be a little scary. But instead, not so dark, focusing the towers instead. Blades might look to go. They need to force
tower
now.
down, but it's Lil Phoenix that goes for the engage. Don't Let Me Sup already falling. Blades getting run down by the Olaf on the other side. Such a massive shield, and now they don't even need to fight the members. They just need to fight the Nexus. It's getting focused now, and it will fall. A 2-0 victory for TDS.
Yeah, that Nexus does not fight back, and Mythic Omega was not able to pick up the win in the second game. Started out clean, and the gold lead exploded. A little bit of shaky mid game there after the Baron was claimed. They got all the objective bounties, but they got a lot of the gold back. But again, they got the triple inhibitor, and then once TDS Knights had triple inhibitor, there was nothing left in the tank.
Yeah, many shutdowns taken, but TDS Knights cleaned it up later, got the relevant objectives, found a great push with all their minion waves there into the Nexus take. So it is a 2-0 going over to this TDS squad. Pretty convincing games despite the slight shakiness at the end of game 2.
You're right. It was a little bit of slight shakiness, but they did have the 1-0 lead, and ultimately were able to clean it up enough to take the victory. Yeah, it was a great performances all around. Do you kind of have an MVP standout after watching these 2 games here?
Ooh, it is hard to say. I have to say, Cease and Assist really impressed me with their plays across both games here. I mean, it's hard to pick because every member of TDS just really performed, but in game 1 on that Nautilus, finding all of those frontline engages for their team. In game 2, finding a lot of picks on Zyra, actually coming out with the most damage dealt in the entire game, despite the rest of their teammates being so fed across the board. I think they really did a great job.
Absolutely. I think that is a well-deserved MVP in this series. As you mentioned, cease and assist. I mean, Zyra's not a champ I've seen piloted very much, and I do feel like this player played it incredibly well. Like you mentioned, the most damage in the game. And yeah, unrecognized hero of the support role, I think really showing up in this series and helped TDS Knights secure the 2-0 victory tonight.
Yeah, both TDS teams I've seen so far impressing with their play, really finding some great advantages across their opponents. We'll see whether Mystic Omega can pick things up a little more as the rest of the season continues. We saw some glimmers of hope in some of these team fights as long as they're not down so much in these early games, maybe with a bit of better draft prep, they can find some of these victories.
Absolutely. The series is still, or the season is still young, and opportunities for Mythic Omega to climb on back. But that's all the League of Legends that we got for you tonight. We are just grateful for everyone in the chat for hanging out, dropping channel points, predicting who would win this, and celebrating some League of Legends on the Rift with All Out Potato and myself, Llama. And that was some great series that we got to cast this evening.
Yeah, happy to be here. Happy for all of you being here and hoping to see you all around next time.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your hump day. And Potato and I will be back. We're casting again together coming up this Saturday. Starting earlier on, there's the Throwdown tournament starting around 5 p.m. EST. InigoMontoya and Nyarko are going to bring you the first couple of games. But Potato and I, we're going to be back Saturday the 4th, 7 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be a best of 3 finals for the Style Throwdown tournament. And you are not going to want to miss that one.
Yeah, very excited to see which team will come out ahead there. It should be some great games in the finals. Really looking forward to it.
We will have to see what happens then. But for now, for me, Llama, and All Out Potato, thank you for joining us on Style Esports, and we will see you later. Have a great night.